Well, hello there. Well, good morning, actually, because by the time you've seen this video, it's morning, although I'm filming this at night, the night before you see this. Yeah, anyway. Or good afternoon if you're, sleeping late and you wake up in the afternoon. Now, this is kind of just a fun video because today I found out my DNA results from Ancestry.com. And there's a reason why I did it. Normally I wouldn't do such a thing. I wouldn't give my DNA willingly like this, or, for God only knows what they're really using it for. I wouldn't do that type of thing, but the reason I did it was because recently I found out, well, I did a video on it, and not many people saw it. Only 100 people saw it, but then I kind of hid the video, and I'll release it at some point, somewhere down the line, due for, I guess, legal reasons at the moment. But this past Thanksgiving, I'd found out that my family has a long-lost relative that was a victim of a serial killer. So I, being the guy that I am, and the true crime buff that I am trying to figure out who this person is. So now, it sounds kind of crazy, and maybe it's just amateur hour with me or something like that, but I went on Namus. I cross-referenced people that were missing at this time, and I'm trying to go through my DNA to see if any of those names in my family tree match with any of those that are missing or whatnot. And I don't know why my TV's acting up, but so that is what I'm doing, and that's the reason why I did it. So it's for a good cause. It's for me to find out this mystery in the family. So with that being said, that is the reasons why I did it. But again, normally I wouldn't do this type of thing, but it is rather interesting, and I've always been fascinated by genetics and DNA since the 90s, when it was first becoming a kind of a thing with crime and everything, and the genome and all that stuff. So it's always been fascinating. I always wanted when I was younger, you'd see those like stuff on Dateline or New Detectives or whatever, and they show that image of, it looks like an X-ray, but it's the DNA strands and all that stuff. I always wanted a picture of my DNA like that hanging on the wall. I don't know why I'm crazy. I just find it fascinating because it took all these thousands of years, millions of years, for my DNA to get in me to do what I'm doing right now. It's just baffling to me. So I find that fascinating. But in any case, so I took it around Christmas break, when I was on Christmas break. So at around the 17th of December or whatever. So I took it, put it in the mailbox or whatever, and I didn't hear anything for a little while, and I started getting worried. The mail just wasn't going to get delivered. And finally they sent me a text. They sent me an email saying, yes, we got it, we received it, and then it kept going on and on. They let you know what's going on. So so I got my results today, and I'm not surprised, but I am surprised, because a lot of what's in there is exactly what I've been told throughout my life as a kid and as an adult, that yes, you're this, that, and the other, and it makes sense. Although there's always that mystery, because my Nana, as I've said in that video, she was adopted, so we don't know what her side of the family is really. Well, most of us don't know. There's a select few that probably know, but I'll find out who she's from. Don't you worry. Detective Mike is on the case. So there's that. And there was always a thing. My mom always said she was adopted, and that could be true. But anyway. So going through this, I get my results, and the first thing I notice is I'm a little stunned because my last name is Rondo, as you all know, obviously by the channel name. So you would think French would be the number one thing, and it's not, surprisingly. It's actually number two. So number one, which is why it's not really a surprise to me, I'm 47% Irish, or from Ireland, I should say. And that's surprising that it's that high. My mom's Irish, my father's French-Canadian, although I imagine my grandfather had a bit Irish. I don't know. So that number's higher than I possibly thought. So I'm like, okay, so the Irish, I'm more Irish than French. with the French last name. So French, I'm 26%. I can barely see my screen. Where's my, here we go, trusty thing here. Yeah, so the next one that really baffled me, and I couldn't see this coming on the radar at all, but yet I'm not really surprised by it, is Scotland, 17%. Interesting. And then we go down, there's a tie here. Northern Italy, 4%. Southern Italy, 4%. And Sardinia, I think I pronounced that right. My ancient relatives will be mad at me because I pronounced that wrong. But I'm Rhode Islander. We pronounce everything wrong. So that's 1%. And then the one that I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised sort of, is Indigenous American Mexico. And I joked with Albert on the podcast. He's Mexican American, so I joked with him. I said, "Well, you're not the only Mexican on the podcast there." I was. So that was just a joke. Obviously, that's not exactly what that means, but we had a good laugh. But so anyway, I'd always heard that because I'm French, the French guys, they had a thing for the Native American women or whatever. So or vice versa. The men with the women, and you figured, oh, all right, I could get that because the trappers and all that stuff. You kind of get an idea. Yeah, okay, that could happen. So indigenous, but I thought it would be more northern, next near Canada. This is near Mexico, which I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, it's 1%. It's like I don't know. It's like one, like maybe my toenail, I guess, is that. I don't know, but it found it very interesting, and then the breakdown, which. Really got interested and confirmed a lot of family stories, which I found very interesting because I remember my father telling me this, that our relatives, when they came to France, they went to Quebec, the St. Lawrence, and they came down through Vermont, New York, and New Hampshire, and then eventually in Rhode Island and stuff, and that all matches up. And then it was funny because I, signed my life away basically to find this mystery out. I guess the first rondo in America that I'm related to was in 1850 or 60, came from, I think, Manitoba. And that's way out, kind of Midwest in Canada, basically. And it's funny, as I was looking at this map of all these other people that have submitted their DNA and that connect to me, there's one that's in that area, and I'm laughing. I think he's my fourth cousin. So there's a lot of fourth and third cousins, fifth cousins, some first and second that are on there. And it's just a fascinating thing to... and by the way, he had an awesome name, which is going to be the next dog I get, I'm going to give this dog... This is going to be the name of the dog, Eustace. Eustace Rondo was his name. And my Uncle Dick, my great Uncle Dick, who I posted a thing in the community thing, who's in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, his middle name was Eustace, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, I just found it fascinating. I know some of you might be bored by this. Mike, we really don't care about this. The real thing that matters to me is finding out who this victim was at some point. And I get a lot of names to go through. It feels like an impossible task to go through all these names and figure this out. But I'm going to try my best at it. We'll see where we go. But at least my genetics are in there, and I can kind of figure out who's what and where's what and go from there. So the mystery is afoot, as they say. Oh, that's real blurry. I don't know. Is that... There we go. But anyway, so I thought it was pretty fascinating. There's other stuff I got to get into. There's traits that I got to look into, which I found pretty funny. There was one trait that said you don't turn red when you drink alcohol. I used to, quite a bit, from what I remember. But that was after, 20 beers or so. I was quite the drinker back in the day. The Irish side actually explains a lot of my drinking back when I was a kid, when I was younger, a younger man. Not that I did that when I was a kid. I would never do such a thing. But, yeah, so those are the results. I'll give you guys an update going forward of what I find, what's interesting. I know I did find out that I'm related to, by the adoption, by my Nana's adoption, the guy who played the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. So there's a Hollywood connection. Of course, my Uncle Dick, who's in the Hall of Fame. We have a victim of a serial killer. And then what I thought was funny was I'm related to someone in the Canadian Parliament who was very much against the British. And I can see where my anti-government or unfavorable government stance comes from, I guess. I guess it runs in the family. Nothing on my family being around for the Revolution or the Civil War so far. And it seems like my family just missed the Revolution and the Civil War. Then they kind of came down and settled in, but we'll see. Anyway, just an update. Curious what you guys think. Did you guys ever do any of the Ancestry, 23andMe and stuff? Sign your name away, or are you hesitant to do it? I'm only doing this to find an answer to a mystery because I can't live with myself if I don't figure this out. It's one of those things that's kind of just going to gnaw at me. So, but anyway, leave a few comments down below. Tell me what you think if you want, or don't say anything at all. It's fine. But anyway, take care. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon.